Welcome back. My name is Dak, and today in this video, we're learning more about chess. But it's a pretty big announcement day for me. Today, I hit 1300 for the first time really in chess. My rating is 1301 in Blitz. I've been playing pretty regularly, I would say, over the last 3 or 4 months. I really started playing around Christmas time of 2024. I had a highest rating when I first started as I was getting, set in, but then I kind of hit a low point in early January in around 1,000, a little bit above 50, 1,050 to 1,100. And so over the next couple weeks and months, I've just kept playing. I've played now 589 games, and I've, today I just hit a ranking of 1301. I'm on my longest is a 7-game win streak, and my current is a 3-game. But I mean, I had lost 9 times in a row at one point. That was back when I was really getting beat early on. I want to show you the game. I want to show you the game that got me there. And so I go to my games, come up here. And so let's see, go all the way back to the beginning. I was playing with black. I'm playing someone who says F, 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 this. A little bit higher rated than me, a 1306. And yeah, I would play with black. And let's go through the game. Let's see. Let's do the analysis board. They start off moving their queen pawn up to d4. I like to respond with a King's Indian defense and a Perk defense. I move up my queen pawn up. That's usually my normal go-to beginning. As you can tell, the computer gives the white a definite advantage, and you're going to see during most of this game, white had the advantage during it. They play forward there up to c4. Computer wants me to move my king pawn up, but again, I do a King's Indian defense, so I move my knight up. They move their knight in response. I know I should move it, but I'm not comfortable enough moving this pawn up, this pawn here, because honestly, I just don't know the system well enough. So instead I go for a King's Indian. They move their knight up, very standard type game. They now control the center right here, both pawns controlling the center, and they've got defenses by either knight, and they've got an extra pawn up as well. But I just do my King's Indian defense through a Perk defense. They bring their knight up. Computer wants me to bring my knight, but instead I'm going to bring my bishop, I'm pretty sure. Yep, bring my bishop. I like doing this. It puts pressure here. I expect this bishop to come out some point, and then my goal is once they get into castling, I want to break up the structure. That's what I like to do. So right here, you see it come out. Computer wants me to take the knight. Now, according to Gotham Chess, and I love Gotham Chess. I mean, Levy's great, one of the all-time great YouTubers. He says don't take the knight if you don't have to. And so I used to a lot because I was just new and just was taking the knights a lot and sacrificing my bishop. But I've kind of started retreating. Now I know I shouldn't do that because I'm moving my piece twice during development. That's also a big no-no on the principles. And I've been caught a number of times doing it. But at least at this point, if the king does castle, the structure's broken up a little bit. They move their knight out. Again, my idea, the thing that I like to do is put pressure going this way. So I'm going to move my queen over, doubling the pressure. Again, I'm anticipating a castle here, and then sacrifice a bishop, and then end up with my queen on this spot right here. But instead, they move their queen up. I move my pawn up. Honestly, the only reason I do this formation, I like to do this formation, is I saw Magnus do it once. Magnus Carlsen, probably not the best reasoning, but I like doing it. Smart players seem to do this. They don't take and they don't take. Instead, they push forward and creating their own wedge. So I create my structure here. I'm kind of just waiting. I'm anticipating a castle at some point, but it's not coming. So I finally move my pawn up. Again, this is probably late. Opens me up to being taken right here by an en passant move, which, if you're watching this video, you probably already know. If not, there's plenty of videos that describe it. And they do. They take me en passant. That was something I was willing to risk because I knew I could just take back with my bishop. And again, I'm still just kind of waiting to get into them to castle. But I had a hanging pawn right here. As you can see, my pawn was hanging, so their bishop came and took my hanging pawn. I move what the computer wants me to do. I move my rook out of the way, get it to safety to the d8 square. Now at this point, the computer wants them to come down, put pressure. I think that's what they do. Nope. Now they're just trading. Again, for no reason, they just take. Not that they had to, but they're going to sacrifice their bishop for it. Now that I've relieved pressure, I'm no longer going this direction. Now the computer really wants them to castle, which they do. And I guess that makes sense because I'm no longer putting pressure on them. But now that I see it, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go back. Probably missed my window, missed my opportunity, and yeah, the computer is giving a huge advantage to white. White has a almost 2-point advantage at this point. They've taken one piece of material more than me, and yeah, better develop, better position. They move the knight forward. Computer doesn't love this, took some back, and I didn't really know what to do, so I'm like, what are you going to do here? Are you going to do something, or are you just trying to hang out? So I put pressure with my pawn, and he takes my bishop again, trading. I think the idea that white is having, hey, I'm up in material, so I'm going to go ahead and trade, simplify the game, which makes sense when you simplify the game. And black really doesn't have any counterplay right here going on, so why not? So okay, at this point, black is still up nearly 2 points, putting pressure. All right, so the queen's protecting this pawn, not going to take it here. What do? I should move the knight out of the way. I move it in the other direction. I like to keep it more center of the board, puts pressure here. Again, the computer doesn't like this huge advantage white. White could really, take me in this game at this point. However, makes a terrible move right there. See that one move? So the computer went from a 3-point advantage for white all the way to a even game, just with that one move, moving the rook over. So now we're even, which is surprising because you think, oh, you're adding pressure. Queen is getting protected and doubling up. But so I'm like, oh, okay. My bishop is now in place. I can take it, but I'll use my knight instead. My knight takes, my bishop is protecting, my queen is protecting. They've only got 1, 2, and I would be definitely winning material. They move bishop back, probably because they're not sure what they're doing at this point, not sure what the attack is. They could be trying to double up. They could be doing a lot of different things, trying to maybe get, if they had come here with the bishop, here with the queen, come in, sacrifice the bishop, put pressure this way. Could have done something like that, but I take a pawn just to get more material and offer a queen trade. My knight is not hanging because my queen is protecting it. I now have a rook on an open file, which is great, and they take. And I'm like, okay, understandable. I take back, and we've done a queen trade. Problem is it leaves this hanging pawn right here, and I didn't really have a good answer for what to do next, and obviously the computer thinks that's what you do. So take, but we're still rather even. So now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. I have 5 pawns. We have 2 rooks each. Opposite squared bishops. He has a light squared, I have a dark squared, and we have a knight each. So I mean, this is an even game. This is perfectly even. So went from 3 points worth of advantage now to a completely even game. So what do I do? All right, I'm going to put some tempo on the knight. Again, the computer wanted me to take this knight right here and trade. I didn't think I needed to do it for no reason, so I put pressure here. Again, computer thinks that's a bad move, and probably right. And so they double up their rooks. Rooks are now doubled. And in response, I saw pressure coming this way. So go back one. I thought the rook was going to come here because this one's hanging. Nothing's protecting it. And so I was surprised that once they got, obviously the tempo here, they had to move it. I thought he was going to come here. Perfect. Honestly, that's what I thought was going to happen. But instead, puts protection there. I move my pawn up to get it out of danger. And then that's what's really surprising. So had an advantage here, and then, so look, again, 2-point advantage, and white just wastes it. Puts it here without taking the pawn. So now all of a sudden, I got options. I move my 1 rook over, attempting to here, putting pressure, telling them come get me. What the computer is saying is move the knight here. It'll be protected, and so can win material that way. Instead, they put a check on me. Again, computer says take the bishop, double up the pawns that way, which would be a good idea because I've got 3 pawns coming down the road. Probably would be a good idea. And now I have an advantage. Black has the advantage. But of course, because I'm an inexperienced player, I don't think to take the piece. I think to move my king out of the way, which again loses all that advantage. All that advantage is just gone. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm threatening the rook, but the thing is, this person's not a 400 level player. They're not going to forget about the rook. They're going to move it. Oh, they don't move it. Interesting. And so instead, they move it to a place where, it has protection. So if I take it, it has 2 different ways to be protected. Again, the computer really wants my knight to take the bishop, but instead I take it with my rook. At this point also, if you've not been watching the time, they're down to 4 seconds. I have a minute and a half. So I have been playing much faster. White is just kind of be playing, without thinking at this point. And so, and because it's a blitz +2, he gets more time each time. But I'm like, okay, so take there. Now I finally take the bishop, which is good. I've got a little bit of advantage. They double up their pawns. Okay. Now we're moving closer to an endgame, and I've got a slight advantage. But what I've really got is time. I've got a minute and a half to 5 seconds. So I move my guy over. Good. Smart. I did what the computer wanted me, most accurate move. Computer says move the rook down, which I think he does. Yeah, rook goes down, and then I see this. I need to come up here because I need to start hunting pawns, knight, other things, especially since his time is low. So I go up there. He takes my pawn. I take his pawn. He moves his bishop out of the way. I take another pawn while at the same time protecting this pawn. Because he could come with his knight, but now it's not going to be advantageous to him. Computer wants him to move his pawn forward. Instead, he puts my king in check, which, again, look at that difference. So right now, we're relatively even. I might have a slight advantage, but, relatively even. And boom, right there, loses 3.5 points worth of advantage. Of course, I should move my king up, put pressure on the knight, can't let it move. It's close enough that if the rook were to come, I can take it. And so what happens with the knight? It moves down, which is actually, I've got a huge advantage at this point. I've got a 5-point advantage. I don't think this is terrible, though, because at this point, he's putting pressure here. I think that's what he was thinking, is that, if your rook comes and takes here, it's being protected by the knight, puts a check on the king, and the king has to move, in a different direction. Can't go either of these spots because the rook's there, and so, and obviously can't go here because the knight's blocking it. So move the king out of the way. I don't think that's a bad plan, but the computer does not like it. And that's what I saw. So I moved my knight or my bishop out of the way. Again, he's playing not with a lot of time. So even if he's thinking about this, he's just flying by the seat of his pants. I should move my rook up, but I'm concerned about what's going to happen down there. So I move my bishop out of the way. And at that point, white timed out. Couldn't have done anything else. Ran out of time. Probably what I think he was going to do next was going to move his knight here, or bishop, his rook there. That was like the plan. But now it's blocked off by my bishop. I could have just come back, take, and I'm absolutely winning at that point. What he could have done alternatively, with no time, he's just running, might have been move something like this. Trying to figure something else out, prevent my pawns from moving up. Because again, that's kind of what would have been my idea, trying to put pressure here. If I come up here, check, there, and then here is checkmate. So I was super close, or no, not checkmate, super close to check, but then knight is gone, comes up here, a lot of moves. I'm now up material, huge advantage, time was well spent. That's my game. But that's how I got to 1300. That was the game. Feel free, if you've watched this video this far, like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Cheer me on as I try and climb up the ranks even further. Alright, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.